Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into something that affects so many of us. Why love can feel so hard to find or, keep, even when we really want it.
It's a huge topic, definitely.
And we've been looking at this fascinating source for our dive today. It's a chapter that lays out, believe it or not, 16 reasons why you still don't have the love you want.
Quite a title.
It is. And our mission here is really to unpack what's underneath those reasons, get past the surface, and see what this source suggests we can learn about ourselves, about our own search for connection.
It definitely invites some self-reflection. It's not about blame, though, right? More about clarity.
Exactly. It's about gaining clarity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's unpack this. So right away, the source kind of challenges the usual thinking. It argues pretty strongly that finding love isn't, mainly about searching for that perfect person or waiting for the stars to align.
That's right. The core idea, really woven through all 16 points, is that the path to the love you're looking for, it's mostly about internal work, self-understanding, being present.
It really shifts the focus inward, doesn't it?
Completely.
And it kicks off with a really powerful first reason. Reason one, you're basically waiting for someone else to do the work.
Uh-huh.
The source suggests you want someone else to, create love for you, convince you of it, do the things you feel you can't do for yourself.
And the kicker is...
Yeah, the kicker.
Yeah.
What you're looking for from them is often exactly what you're not giving to yourself.
That's such a crucial reframing right there. It flips the script. Your expectation isn't really about the other person.
It's a mirror.
It's a mirror to your own unmet needs, or maybe your own reluctance to, engage with yourself on that level. It's not their fault you feel that void.
Wow. Okay. And building on that, reason number two dives into rigid expectations, holding on to this, perfect idea of what love should look like.
Yeah, and the source makes this really bold claim. Love never actually looks the way we think it will.
Never. Why not?
Because, according to this source, the image we have isn't the actual experience of love. It suggests these fixed ideas are often just, defenses.
Defenses. Against what?
Maybe insecurity or needing to prove something. But ultimately, the source says, they just distract you from finding something real that might not fit that perfect mold.
So we're so focused on the wrapping paper, we miss the gift inside. Is that the idea?
That's a great way to put it. You're chasing an image, and it stops you from actually being there for the real, sometimes messy experience of connecting with someone.
Okay, that flows right into reason three then. Misunderstanding what love even is. The source really pushes back on the idea that love is just a good feeling that sort of happens to you.
Right. Instead, it talks about love as a consistent state of being in communion with body, mind, and soul, which sounds lofty.
It does sound lofty. What does that mean in day-to-day life according to the source?
Well, it suggests it's about being consciously present, aware of yourself, your body, your thoughts, your feelings, and staying connected to that internal reality no matter what's happening outside.
Oh, it's a practice.
Exactly. A daily commitment. Learning practical ways to be loving, not just feel loving when things are easy. Choosing appreciation, choosing respect, even when maybe attraction or compatibility isn't sky high in that moment. Those are the constants.
And it links breakups to this too, doesn't it? Saying they happen because we expect love to give us something.
Something we haven't cultivated inside ourselves, yeah. If you think love's job is to make you feel complete or happy and it doesn't deliver, you blame the love or the partner.
Instead of looking inward.
Right, instead of realizing it couldn't possibly fill a void that was yours to begin with.
Which brings us neatly to reason four, love as an enhancement, not a fix.
Yeah, the source is super clear on this. Love doesn't fill the void.
What does it do then?
It magnifies what's already most present in your life. It basically turns up the volume on your existing state.
So if I'm feeling insecure,
love will likely amplify that insecurity, according to this view. Make it harder to ignore. It's not the cure. It's presented more as a mirror, reflecting your internal landscape back at you.
A mirror. I like that.
The source calls it the avenue through which you share your life, but also, crucially, how you get to see yourself more clearly.
Wow. So it doesn't patch the holes, it highlights them.
Precisely.
Okay.
It makes your internal state kind of undeniable.
Reason five feels connected. It's about waiting for perfect circumstances.
That belief that love will just sort of bloom like a chemical reaction when everything's just right.
Like magic.
Yeah, like magic. And the source admits, sure, initial attraction has hormones, expectations, reactive stuff, but it insists that real lasting love is cultivated from that, but more effectively from mutual appreciation and respect.
Things you do, not things you wait for.
Exactly. It's always shifting from passive waiting to active cultivation.
Okay, let's pause for a sec because this feels like where the source really starts weaving its main point together.
Right.
We had reason 1, wanting someone else to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
And reason 4, love as an enhancement, a mirror.
Right.
And now reason 12 ties these together. It says you want love to change your life. You're looking for stability, security, hope, happiness from the relationship.
Believing you can't generate those things yourself.
Yes. And the source says this puts love entirely outside of you.
And here's the core argument, connecting back. You simply cannot see or create or really experience on the outside what isn't already being cultivated inside you.
So if I don't have a sense of inner stability,
You can't reliably find someone else to just give it to you through love. It doesn't work that way, according to this.
that completely reframes the whole search, doesn't it? It's not about finding happiness out there.
It's about finding someone to share the happiness you're already building within.
Yeah.
The external relationship becomes an extension of your internal one.
Okay. Deep breath. Let's move to reason 6.
Yeah.
This one's about how we present ourselves, focusing on objective appeal.
Right. Trying to make yourself generally attractive, fit some kind of ideal mold, maybe. Instead of figuring out who you actually are authentically and then attracting someone who genuinely appreciates that specific person.
And the source sees this as avoidance.
Pretty much. Avoiding showing your true self, probably because deep down you assume it's not good enough to be loved as is.
Which logically makes it hard to find someone who loves the real you.
Exactly, because you're not showing the real you.
And that leads straight into reason 7. Unclear intentions if you're busy editing yourself for others.
You lose track of what you genuinely want in a relationship or a partner.
Makes sense.
The source is blunt here. It says you can't be honest about what you want if you're not okay with the truth of who you are. You end up filtering everything, potential partners, the relationship itself, through this image you're trying to project.
Not through your actual needs and desires.
Right.
That really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How much of what we think we want is shaped by perceived expectations versus our own, quiet inner truth.
It's a big question. Creates a real disconnect.
Okay, reason 8. This one feels almost confrontational, blaming others. And the source counters this with a core idea. Every relationship you have is with yourself.
Yeah, that's a central theme. This chapter views relationships not just as interactions between two people, but as these intense opportunities for healing.
Healing what?
Healing what's unresolved inside you. The source argues that if you keep running into the same problems in different relationships, blaming the other person each time,
Probably not that.
it's likely stemming from your own internal patterns, your own unresolved stuff. The relationship is just bringing it to the surface.
So relationships are mirrors again, showing us our own baggage.
Exactly, and blaming is just, refusing to look in the mirror.
Reason 9 connects to that internal landscape too, misunderstanding negative emotions.
Right. Seeing things like sadness, anger, fear as just bad feelings, things to ignore or push down or numb out.
Because who wants to feel bad?
Of course. But the source completely reframes them. It calls them calls to heal.
Calls to heal.
Yeah. These feelings are signals. They're how we communicate with ourselves about where things are off internally. And healing, in this context, means reopening to hope, to goodness, to love.
So negative feelings aren't about what others did wrong.
Not primarily, according to the source. They're signals about our own misnavigation, our own misunderstandings, maybe where we're letting past fears run the show. They point inward.
Okay, if we step back and look at the bigger picture here, the source seems to be positioning both relationships and our emotions as these powerful internal guides.
Definitely. Guides for self-discovery, pointers for where healing is needed within us rather than, accusations aimed outward.
Right. Okay, reason 10 brings in a slightly different angle. Heart versus mind polarization.
Needing to use both together. Your intuition, your desires, the heart, and your logic. You're planning the mind.
And the source uses a metaphor.
Yeah, the heart is the map, telling you what you truly want, your direction. The mind is the compass, telling you how to navigate towards it practically.
And if you're polarized, using only one.
You're essentially lost. You need both working together, map and compass.
Interesting. Then reason 11 introduces something that sounds a bit abstract, but the source makes it practical. Not honoring the inner child.
It sounds abstract, yeah, but the exercise it suggests is simple. Imagine talking to yourself as a child. What would that child need to hear? What do you truly need to give yourself?
Like reassurance.
Yeah.
Acceptance.
Exactly. Unconditional love, security, kindness. Learning to love yourself in this framework means consistently honoring and providing for that core, vulnerable self, the inner child.
Okay. And we already touched on reason 12, wanting love to change your life, as part of that love starts inside argument.
Yes, absolutely. It reinforces that core idea. You can't really get or sustain something on the outside if it's not first cultivated within.
Now, reason 13 is fascinating. It flips the mirror concept again, but positively. What you love in others is actually in you.
It's a really compelling point. The source claims that the qualities you most admire or are drawn to in other people, they're reflections of what you value or love most about yourself, even if unconsciously.
So liking someone's kindness means I value my own kindness.
Or perhaps you have the capacity for that kindness within you. The idea is the more you open up to your own positive qualities, your own joy, the more you'll naturally appreciate those things in others.
And the flip side, healing anxiety reduces blame.
Yeah. As you heal your own stuff, you project less onto others. Loving someone, in this view, involves appreciating qualities in them that resonate with the good stuff you appreciate or are learning to appreciate in yourself.
So attraction itself becomes a form of self-discovery.
Another reflection, exactly, pointing inward again.
Reason 14 circles back to expectations and blame. Expecting others to fix you.
But it's deeper than just hoping someone makes your life better. It's the belief that someone else is responsible for fixing you.
And if they don't,
Then something's wrong with them. The source argues that wanting to change or fix or even condemn the other person is often just projecting your own feelings about your perceived flaws onto them.
putting your own internal criticism onto someone else?
Basically, yes. Another outward projection of an internal state.
Okay, reason 15 highlights something crucial, but maybe easy to forget. Forgetting kindness.
The source is really direct here. Kindness is the fabric of love.
The fabric, wow.
And it adds something quite poignant. People can sometimes be cruelest to those they love the most.
Why would that be?
The source suggests it's often because we see parts of ourselves that we've rejected, vulnerabilities, maybe flaws reflected in our loved ones, and we lash out at that reflection.
Attacking in them what we hate in ourselves.
Something like that.
Sure.
So unconditional kindness, the source argues, isn't just nice to have, it's the absolute foundation for happy relationships. And a happy life, really.
It puts kindness right up there with love itself.
It's presented as the essential practice, the thing that makes love visible and sustainable.
And finally, reason 16. It feels like it ties everything together, looking for the answer outside the question.
It brings it right back to that foundational idea. The love you really want is your own. Meaning you're often out there seeking from someone else exactly what you aren't giving to yourself. The source suggests your anger shows you what you haven't accepted or healed inside. Your joy, your hope, those show you what's already alive within you.
So finding someone to share life with, it really has to start with you.
That's the conclusion, yeah. Loving yourself, in this view, means actively giving yourself the acceptance, the kindness, the security, the presence you wish someone else would provide.
So, okay, looking across all 16 points, what's the big takeaway here?
The message that comes through again and again, really consistently from this source, is that the love we're searching for, its origin, its nature, it's fundamentally internal.
That's a challenging idea.
It is. The chapter makes a really compelling case that the journey towards the love you want isn't mainly an external search party. It's a deep internal one.
Requiring what?
Self-awareness, definitely. Radical self-acceptance, consistent self-kindness. And importantly, being willing to see relationships as those mirrors, showing us where we need to grow inside.
So love isn't just found, it's cultivated.
That's the word, cultivated. First within yourself, and then shared from that place of inner fullness. Built on mutual appreciation, respect, and that all-important fabric, kindness.
It's a huge shift from just waiting or hoping.
It's a call to action, really, to shift focus from seeking validation outside to building the foundation inside.
The source leaves us with a really powerful thought to chew on. It says, the love you really want is your own. So maybe something for you listening to consider. As you think about your own journey with love, what aspects of the love, the security, the joy, the acceptance, what parts of that are you wanting from someone else that maybe, just maybe, you need to start actively cultivating and giving to yourself first?
It's a profound question to sit with.
Indeed. Well, thank you for joining us for this deep dive into a very introspective take on love. We hope these insights give you some valuable food for thought on your own path.